Students, welcome to the social class. So students, I hope you have seen the timetable for social class. Basically, there is a little bit change in our timetable. Monday it will be recorded class. Tuesday it will be live class. Wednesday again it will be recorded class, and Friday students at 11:45 it will be live class. Okay, so 2 live classes and 2 recorded classes. Now let's start our next topic, which is all about Surat. Okay, so we were basically discussing about the traders, the towns, and also the craft person of medieval era. Now today we will first discuss about Surat, how it was regarded as the gateway to the west. After that we will proceed towards one particular trading port, okay, and this trading port was Masulipatam. Let's begin with Surat. You can see on the map that I have highlighted the Gujarat portion with yellow in color. So in the Gujarat portion you can see a red dot which is depicting Surat. So Surat is basically situated in Gujarat, and it was the center or important trade center of western trade from the Mughal era onwards. In the Mughal period, not only Surat was one of the hub of commercial activities, but also with Surat, Cambay, which is modernly or present day known as Khambat, and Ahmedabad, okay, they were also the important trade center, okay, during the medieval time period. So Surat was the gateway for western trade, because from Surat India used to trade with West Asia via Gulf of Urmuj. It is particularly situated in Middle East. Okay. Surat has been called the gate to Makkah. Why? Because most of the pilgrims, okay, pilgrims, you know, people who used to start a holy journey, okay, journey to a sacred place, that is pilgriming, okay, so they were known as pilgrims. So these pilgrims, okay, they used to start their journey from Surat to Makkah. So it was also known as the gate to Mecca. Now, the city was cosmopolitan. The word cosmopolitan refers to different culture. So, in the city of Surat, we will find people of all caste and creeds, okay, people of different culture, people belonging to different culture used to stay in this particular city of Surat. That's why the city of Surat was also regarded as cosmopolitan. After that, in the 17th century, the Portuguese, Dutch and English had their factories and warehouses situated in this particular place, that was Surat. According to English chronicler Ovington, now what did this Ovington has described about Surat, you will know. Ovington has written about this particular trade center, that is Surat, on his account, and he was an English chronicler, and he wrote that in Surat we will find hundred of ships belonging to different countries. It means that different countries used to trade with India through Surat. Okay, that is the reason why Surat was the port, okay, where we will find different you can say different or hundreds of ships, okay, of various countries. Okay, so might be for this reason also the city of Surat was cosmopolitan. Okay, people of different culture used to live there. Clear with these points? So what we had known in this particular slide, we had known that Surat, which is situated in Gujarat, was one of the center of western trade. Okay, and this was from the Mughal period onwards. Not only Surat, two more places were the hub of commercial activities in medieval era, and that two places were Cambay, present day Khambat, which is also situated in Gujarat, and the other one is Ahmedabad, which is also situated in Gujarat. Okay. Now, Surat was the gateway of trade because from Surat we used to trade with Western Asia. Surat was also regarded as the gate to Makkah because most of the pilgrim ships, they start their journey from Surat to Mecca. The city was cosmopolitan because people of all the caste, creed used to live there. People of different culture used to live there. Okay. In the 17th century, we have seen that the Portuguese, Dutch and English, they had set up their factories and warehouses at Surat. According to one person, and he was Ovington, and he was an English chronicler. He had wrote on his account that this place Surat, in the place Surat, we will find hundred of ships of different countries. It means that India used to trade with different countries through Surat. And Surat was one of the center of Western trade. That is the reason why hundred of ships, were there in this particular place, that is Surat. Hundred of ships which belongs to different countries were there, in this particular port. After that, there were also several shops, basically retail and wholesale shops selling cotton textile. The jari work of Surat was famous worldwide. People from West Asia, Africa and Europe used to like the jari work of Surat. Now, what is this jari work? Jari work is basically gold lace borders, which were produced in Surat. You can also see the picture of jari work showing on your screen. The first picture, you can see the golden lace design. It's the jari work, and you will find the jari work in saris, salwars, in kurtas. After that, in this particular city of Surat, you will also find lots of rest houses because there were traders across the world who used to visit this place, and they used to take rest in the rest houses. So rest houses were constructed in Surat. Apart from rest houses, there were also beautiful buildings and parks located in Surat. The Mahajans had huge banking houses at Surat, and there were also, you can say, hundis which were found in Surat, and this hundis shows that Surat used to trade with Cairo, which is situated in Egypt, Basra, which is situated in Iraq, and Antwerp, which is situated in Belgium. So this is one of the sources through which we can say that Surat was the center of Western trade. Because Surat hundis were found. Hundis basically means the note which records a deposit made by a person. You can also see the picture of hundis on your screen. The second picture is basically the picture of hundis. So hundis is a kind of note where the records of a particular depositor, how much money he has deposited, for which purpose he has deposited was recorded, that is hundi. So hundis were found, and which shows that Surat had a trade relation with Egypt, Iraq and Belgium. Clear? The reason behind the decline of Surat. At the end of the 17th century, with the decline of Mughal Empire, we had also seen that Surat began to decline. Because with the decline of Mughal Empire, it lost most of its market and productivity. So most of its market and productivity were lost because of the decline of Mughal Empire. After that, sea route was basically controlled by the Portuguese, and British East India Company, they were the great competitors in that particular period of time. In 1668, British East India Company had shifted their headquarters to Bombay, and there were immense competition between Bombay and Surat, because Surat was the town, okay, was the city whose sea route was controlled by Portuguese, and on the other hand, British East India Company had shifted their headquarters to Bombay, and so that there were competition among Bombay and Surat, okay, among these two particular seaports or trading ports, you can say like that. Surat is now also one of the busy commercial center in India. After Surat, our next topic is all about Masulipattnam or Machilipatnam. On the map of India, you can see I have highlighted the place Masulipattnam or Machilipatnam yellow in color. This is basically mean fish port town. The word Machilipatnam or Masulipattnam mean fish port town, and this town is situated on the delta of Krishna river, okay. In the 17th century, it was the center of commercial activities. Both the Dutch and English East India Company, they attempted to control this place, that is Masulipattnam, okay, because this was one of the important port on the Andhra coast. So in the Andhra Pradesh region, you will find this particular you can say fish port town or coast, okay. The fort of Masulipattnam was built by the Dutch. So the Dutch and the British East India Company, they had an eye on this particular important port, that is Masulipattnam. So in order to prevent the trade, the trade passing completely into the hands of the various East India companies, the rulers of Golconda, they used to impose some kind of tax or monopolies on sale of textiles, spices and other items, okay. So Qutub Shahi rulers of Golconda, they know the reason that Masulipattnam was one of the important port, and Dutch and English East India Company, they had an eye to control this particular port. So the Qutub Shahi rulers of Golconda, they were also very clever. They had imposed royal monopolies on the sale of textile, spice and other items to prevent the trade passing completely into the hands of various East India companies. After that, as there was competition among various trading groups which used to live in this particular place, okay, and this competition was among Golconda nobles, Persian merchants, Telugu Kamati Shettis and European traders as well. So the city of Masulipattnam was populous as well as prosperous. As the Mughals began to extend their power to Golconda, their representative, the governor Mir Jumla, who was also a merchant, began to play off the Dutch and the English against each other. So Mir Jumla, he was the governor, okay, and he was the governor of a particular, you can say, he was the governor of Mughals, okay, and basically he was during the time of Aurangzeb, okay. So during the time of Aurangzeb, we have seen that Mughals, they had extended their power over Golconda, and in this way, you can say Mir Jumla, the governor of Mughal, he had tried very hard, okay, to play off the Dutch and the English against each other, okay. That was his strategy. After that, this caused the European companies to look for alternative. It was a part of the new policy of British East India Company that it was not enough if a port had connection with the production centers of the hinterland. The new company trade centers, it was felt, should combine political, administrative and commercial roles. As the company traders moved to Bombay, Calcutta and Madras, Masulipatam lost both its merchant and prosperity and declined in the course of 18th century, being today nothing more than a dilapidated little town. So what you have known here, this is very simple. Everyone had an eye on Masulipatam. Now Masulipatam is situated in the Andhra coast, okay, and this is basically a fishing town because it is situated on the delta of Kaveri river, isn't it? After that, you had known that the Dutch and the British East India Company both had an eye on this place. Both want to capture this place because it was one of the important port at that particular period of time in the 17th century. After that, what happened? The Golconda rulers, they had understood very well that if they will not show their power, okay, they will lose this particular important port in the hands of Dutch or British East India Company. So they started imposing some kind of monopoly on trade, okay, like textiles, spices and so on. After that, there were also competition among various trading groups, okay, like Persian merchant, Telugu committee cities, Golconda nobles and European traders, okay, who used to live in this city, and as a result, this city was one of the populous and prosperous city. But what we had seen that during the time of Aurangzeb, the place, okay, or you can say they had annexed the place Golconda and they had got power, okay, to Golconda. As a result, the Governor General of Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, Mir Jumla, he had tried very hard and he had play off the Dutch and the English against each other. So he had tried to be clever and cunning, and he had tried very hard to play off this particular European power, that is Dutch and English, against each other, okay. After that, we had seen that European companies, they had shifted most of their, you can say, important commercial centers to Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. Okay, then after that, in the 18th century, Masulipatam, it lost its merchants as well as its prosperity because the British East India Company and the other, you can say, European companies, they started shifting, okay, their main centers to other places, okay. So as they were shifting their trading centers to other places, this place Masulipatam lost both its merchants and prosperity. Now Masulipatam is just a little town. After that, one particular source is there in your book, a poor fisher town. This is a description of Masulipatam by William Methold. So who described it? William Methold, a factor of the English East India Company in 1620. This is the chief port of Golconda, where the right worshipful East India Company have their agent. It is a small town but populous, unwell, ill-built and worse situated. Within all the spring or brackies, it was first a poor fisher town. Afterwards, the convenience of the road made it a residence for merchants, and so continues since our and the Dutch nation frequented this coast. Now, why did English and Dutch decide to establish settlement in Masulipatam? This question might come. So, the answer of this question is related to this source, okay, written by William Methold. So, basically, the British and the Dutch, they wanted to establish control over Masulipatam due to its location. Okay, it is near to the Andhra coast, okay, it is situated on the delta of Kaveri river, and this is a fish trading port, okay. After that, you can say it was also one of the center of commercial activities. Okay, and if they will control this particular port, they can control their power over the trade system in our subcontinent, and they could also control imports and exports, because most of the imports and export was from this particular place. Okay, so that was the reason why the English and the Dutch wanted to establish their settlement in Masulipatam. Now, important question for your homework. Okay, today we did about Surat, so you will examine Surat as a gateway to the west for 5 marks. You will analyze what did Ovington, English chronicler, wrote about Surat. You will demonstrate Masulipatam as a trading town for 5 marks. You will identify how did the Mughal extend their control over Golconda. What was the policy of English East India Company during this period? Analyze how did William McOld describe Masulipatam. Okay, so this are basically competency based question. Okay, and I hope you can do it because I have explained this part. So see you tomorrow in our live class, and I will also ask this the answer of this question, okay, tomorrow. So be prepared. Bye bye.